and welcome to the Election Corner on One Man Think Tank. Yesterday, we did the 2020 Democratic Blue Wave Senate election, so today we'll do the 2020 Democratic Blue Wave presidential election. And I'll do this one in a similar vein to how we ran the how I did the 2016 one, weaving a little bit of a narrative. However, I'll also make a note here that there are a few bits in this scenario you should know. One, the Democrats will only be able to achieve this assuming Donald Trump remains in office, but is not acquitted. He may even face multiple additional charges of impeachment and additional elections. As for the Democratic candidate, I'm not going to be running with anyone in particular. Rather, I will assume they have all of the benefits that each Democratic candidate is looking for. So, high support with African Americans and Latinos, able to still win over the white suburban middle class, and not too dangerous as to push away the the upper middle class and wealthy. And I will also assume there's no third-party candidate running. So, let's begin. The first polls to close, as always, are in Indiana and Kentucky. And it was not setting out for a good night for the Republicans. For Indiana, easily called for Donald Trump. Kentucky, not so much. While he was leading by a fair amount, there was the surge in the Democratic turnout, as well as causing the Senate election to be more in doubt, also threatened Donald Trump's chance of winning Kentucky itself, it seemed. Would he be the next Mark Bevin? Half hour passes, no new results. An hour passes, and Kentucky is called for the Republicans. Donald Trump pulling ahead fairly rapidly. However, Mitch McConnell not having the similar luck, setting up a tense evening for the Republicans. Virginia is the first state to be called for the Democrats, coming in a solid blue, easily called. Vermont is also called. New Hampshire, as results begin to trickle in, looks like it will go for the Democrats, but it's too early to tell as its polls don't completely close until 8 o'clock. Georgia and Florida both are too close to call. Florida, this is unsurprising, however, the tightness of the margins make it a tad surprising. In South Carolina, it is an easy win for Donald Trump. However, Lindsey Graham isn't gaining such support. His Democratic opponent was unable to make serious contention in South Carolina, but it seems that the Senate race is a lot more personal. Half hour passes and 7:30 rolls around. Ohio is too close to call, while West Virginia is barely, albeit the margin is a tad closer than normal, easily called for the Republicans, albeit barely. North Carolina, on the other hand, is tilting towards the Democratic Party. However, it is too close to call initially. As time continues to pass, Georgia grows and Florida grow more blue concerning the Republican Party. However, at this point, enough votes have come in that New Hampshire can be called for the Democratic Party. Right as 8 o'clock rolls around, and there's a sweeping amount of states called for the Democrats, including Delaware, Maryland, D.C., New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Maine's 1st district. Maine's 2nd district is still up for contention. Pennsylvania is heavily leaning towards the Democrats, though it can't be called yet. As the night continues to progress, Ohio is called for the Republicans, as more states are called at the 8 o'clock poll closing. Michigan, in what can best be described as a sigh of relief for the Democrats, is called the moment of poll closure for the Democrats. Illinois is too. Republicans are, however, able to save face in Mississippi and Alabama, Tennessee also going for them. As a few more votes trickle in from the Panhandle, Florida starts to look more red, though it is still very much in contention. Missouri and Oklahoma also go. Kansas, however, with Kobach in the Senate seat and an overall depression of Republican turnout, is too close to call. Texas is also proving to be quite a deep contention, with exit polls showing high turnout amongst Latino voters. And thus the wait begins for 9 o'clock to roll around, We get one brief break in the dam when Arkansas is called for the Republicans, but we're still waiting for the full results. As time ticks, North Carolina, right before the 9 p.m. poll closings, is called for the Democrats, as is Pennsylvania. The strong turnout there pushed the state heavily in the Democrats' favor, with Donald Trump losing significantly more quickly than expected, partially due to low turnout in rural areas and high turnout in suburban ones for the Democrats, and low turnout in rural areas for the Republicans, to clarify. Georgia and Florida, still waiting on the results. Then 9 o'clock rolls around. Louisiana easily called for the Republicans, along with North and South Dakota. Nebraska's overall and 1st and 3rd districts are called. However, in a shocking turn of events, the 2nd district actually seems to be in contention for once. However, the Democrats win Minnesota. Iowa and Wisconsin are a tad closer, though Wisconsin is heavily in the Democrats' favor. Iowa could go either way at this point in time. Wyoming flips to the Republicans with ease. Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona all look likely to the Democrats, with Colorado and New Mexico being called immediately, Arizona in contention and waiting. However, at this point, it's looking likely the Democrats have a chance of clinching this, as New York is also called, and Maine's 2nd district goes to the Democrats. Wyoming is then also called, or Wisconsin is then also called after about a half hour, alongside of Georgia. It's as the Democrat slowly pulls away its clear black re-enfranchised African-American voters in the state, as well as newly registered voters, have pushed it further. Florida seems to be facing a similar trend, however, it's going to probably go down to the wire. Then 10 o'clock rolls around and there are multiple calls. Florida called for the Democrats as well as Iowa. Nebraska's 1st district is called for the Republicans. Across the West, more states are called. Utah and Idaho and Montana for the Republicans. However, Nevada is easily won by the Democrats with high Latino turnout, as Arizona is also called. We then go back to waiting. However, in our waiting, Kansas is called for the Democrats, albeit by the slimmest of margins. The Republicans promise to contest the state, though they've already lost, as the Democrats still have California as a guaranteed in their pocket, as well as Oregon, Washington, and Oregon, along with Hawaii, guaranteeing them a majority of the votes. They will most likely break 300. They will break 300 with ease. In the wait, as 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time rolls around, the entirety of the West Coast is called for the Democratic Party, as is Texas. Donald Trump made his best stand there. However, high suburban turnout and conversion to the Democrats, as well as loss of Republican support among suburban voters, and just a lack of turnout thereof, causes Donald Trump to lose Texas. Now, albeit waiting a long time, at about 1 a.m., Hawaii and Alaska are called. Hawaii for the Democrats, Alaska for Donald Trump. Donald Trump faced one of the most crushing defeats of the modern era, with the Democrat receiving 400 electoral college votes. Truly, this is a massive defeat. Now, leaving storytelling mode for a moment, I want to say this. This map is not likely. This is what I believe the Democrats' best case scenario is currently. If they run someone who has the Midwestern appeal of Elizabeth Warren, someone with the Hispanic appeal of Bernie Sanders, and someone with the Southern and Black appeal of Joe Biden, they could do this. Do I think it's likely? As it currently stands, no. You can see my proper presidential prediction uploaded last Monday for more details. But this is definitely a plausible map, albeit a highly unlikely one. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, it is good to look at the extremes. I have a little bit more time, so I'll monologue for a moment. It's good to look at the extremes because if we don't, we become very set in our ways, both parties. Republicans don't try and win blue states, Democrats don't try and win red states. It results in this very inelastic system. While I'll talk about reforms in the future that can be used to cure this, I think looking at extremes is not a bad idea. And while I am doing this moderately because impeachment is up and we need to ask the question, how badly could Trump lose? I will probably do, how badly can Trump win? But that's not going to be for a little while, as I am planning to do a video upcoming on Bernie Sanders and his rise in the Democratic primary, as well as a overview of the first 4 states and what the current candidates need to do to win them. That being said, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or if you have an opinion or on states that shouldn't have flipped or should have, drop a comment down below saying what you have to say. If you want more content like this, or policy opinions, coming shortly, please subscribe to the channel, and make sure to click that notification bell, otherwise you won't see when new content is released. And, as always, have a wonderful day.